Now, what are the implications of this? Well, it means we have a much broader scope, but does it really? Does it mean we have broader scope? We simply have to coordinate what's already going on in the company. Now, a lot of stuff is already taking place in terms of corporate governance and process governance, and different kinds of governance in terms of we're doing elsewhere in the company. My perspective is we have to connect dots between what we've thought about as data governance to other forms of corporate governance or operational governance. I think we have to think about this as a holistic system and make sure it's integrated so that the policies reflect the capture, use, and sharing of data, but also the use of that data, and also to incent people to use the data in the decisions they're making if you want to become data driven, and to see if the actions are being taken and the right impact is being produced. Because if I was on the board of directors of a company, I want to know this value chain is working. And I want to have some confidence that the value chain is being governed. And I probably have I do. I have many value chains in my company. And I want to know if those value chains are breaking or if they're working effectively. Because it's the value chains that are going to give me the results I'm looking for. Now, it's going to be more complex and there's more stakeholders, and there's a larger set of policies here, but I think if we start to connect the dots between what's already being done, it's really a matter of coordination and collaboration. Now, if we do this, governance now has a direct link to value. It's no longer an indirect link because we're governing the full chain. We're not simply governing a piece of it. And that is a tremendous different perspective, that we're not enabling value, we're actually creating value. And it's recognizing that the thing we're governing, the scope has increased to these different boxes and components I've talked about, and yet each of these requires policies and incentives so we can align our organization to make sure that the data is used impactfully where it should be. So that becomes the thinking behind broadening our view from just data to data value. Now that has implications on scope. So I had the axis earlier here about goals and the things being governed. I'm simply saying now that rather than looking at the scope individually about whether you're governing a project or you're governing a product or governing a customer, or if you're simply governing data, or if you're governing safety, those are things we govern in our companies. But if we think about this at a value stream level, we're now governing value streams. That means that the things being governed, in this case on the x-axis, collectively have to all be governed together because they add up to the solution we're looking for. And that is the challenge. Now, what are the goals of governance? How do you know if governance is successful or effective? We have to give ourselves goals. And I've already talked, these goals relate to the impact we're trying to produce by governing them. It could be a heightened level of capabilities. It could be a higher level of quality or constraining our levels of security. The goals could be around efficiency. The goals here could come from that list of impact. So the impact areas I'm trying to produce, whether it's around agility, innovation, efficiency, et cetera, I talked about, are actually become the goals of governance. So we have to make sure if we have the right policies in place to produce those goals. And now there's a one-for-one link between governance and its goals and the value streams that produce the results. And now there's a link between governance of value using data to produce organizational results. So this is, again, broader. There's organizational implications to this and how we coordinate and drive this through some sort of an office.